We are standing by to take you live to a police news conference on the hunt for fugitive Malcolm Naden after he again escaped capture yesterday. Now, this is the scene at New South Wales Police Headquarters in Sydney, where Sunrise correspondent Edwina Bartholomew is this morning. Eddie, good morning. Police literally came within metres of Naden, but he managed to escape again.
Yeah, they believe so, Sam, within 50 metres of Malcolm Naden. We're waiting here for a press conference with Assistant Police Commissioner Carlene York. Let's go to her now to give us an update. Good morning.
Okay, we seem to have a problem with our audio.
That it was in fact Mr Naden. Mr Naden did make good his escape and fled into the bush. We sent a lot of tactical police up there and we've retrieved a lot of property from those premises in relation to his presence on those premises, and they're undergoing forensic investigation at the moment. And the police did an excellent job in relation to confronting him, and recently we've put out now an updated photograph of what we think he looks like out to the community. And I encourage any community members to have a look at that photograph and report any sightings to the police.
How can you say they did an excellent job if you managed to get away?
Well, you've got to remember that there are a lot of break-and-enters in these areas. They're remote cabins, it's rugged terrain, and the local police respond to calls at various times. And so a call came in that there was a suspected break-and-enter at this premises. My strike force was elsewhere doing a lot of searching for Mr Naden based on the last reports of a sighting and some evidence that we had in relation to his movements. These police went there, they were confronted by a male on the premises, they drew their firearms and he ran back into the house. They did a good job because one of the items that we retrieved from those premises was a firearm. They kept him away from that firearm and managed to look after their safety as well whilst trying to arrest him, but he did get back into the premises and fled very quickly. They called for radio assistance. Our strike force officers went over as backup and we searched for him, but as I say, he had made good his escape into the bush.
So how close to now in the area you were focusing your search on? How far was this?
We were focusing on an area south of Nowandock, which is where the last sightings were, and some information had come to us, and we had the weather was very bad, so we didn't have the opportunity of the helicopter. At the moment it's raining here in Sydney, but it's very misty and foggy up there as well. And this area was to the west of Nowandock. So that way, since this evidence, we have now moved our resources over to that area.
Can you describe, he went into the house, but what, I mean, where did he go from there? Did he go out the back?
Oh, well, there's many exits from premises, so that as the police called for backup on the radio, they were out the front. It's quite surrounded by heavy bushland, quite difficult to contain, and he fled out into the bush. It's only a matter of metres away from the cabin. It's really a remote property.
How close did Nowandock though? Why didn't you send more than 2 general duties officers to deal with this? Isn't there some, even the homeowner says you didn't have to be Einstein to work out who it might be.
Well, it might be, but then to turn my resources into that area takes them away from where we had some good information that he had been located. Our officers, they're general duty officers, well armed and going in careful of their safety. They're instructed that, you know, it could be Mr Naden, but in his movements there, as I say, there are other break-and-enters that have happened in the area that isn't related to him. So they have to go knowing that it could be him or it could be another offender, which may not be as dangerous, needs a different response. And we need to risk assess each circumstance so that we can decide whether or not we take them away from the other search that was already organised, well coordinated, and they're out in the bush. And it's not like they can hop in a car and just drive across. It's quite some distance. They have to come back in from the bushland area that they're searching. So as soon as we believed that this was a possible chance, that it was possibly Mr Naden, we sent the officers straight over, and the tactical teams, the dog unit, and those support services and the specialist services that we have out there in that area.
You speak of a confrontation. How close were the officers to Naden, and what happened in that confrontation?
They had got out of their vehicle and were approaching the house, and he came out of the house and the confrontation happened. They were some distance away. You can see that they had an opportunity to view the face of the man, and that's led to the new picture or photograph that we've put out into the community. And he's retreated very quickly, and as I say, there was a firearm there. and he was unable to grab that before he left the premises.
Is there approximate kilometre distance from where you're focusing your resources to where this actual place is?
I'd say approximately 40 to 50 kilometres, but it's certainly not like a metropolitan area. It's 40 to 50 kilometres of winding roads and pathways and things like that. So difficult distance to travel over, but not too far away. But certainly when you've got your tactical teams in one area, as I said, I deployed them then to this new area.
What does he tell you about where he's, how he's moving around and where he might be going, and what does it mean that you're going to do with the strike force? Is it going to get larger? Is it going to focus on different areas?
Well, certainly we're now focusing on this area. We've had a good sighting, and within 2 days we're very close to where he was, and he can only travel so much distance per day. So we'll be sending the forces out there to search that particular area. I can say, because of the property that we found, and I'm not going to go into the details, but certainly the comforts of what a camper would want, he is probably out there cold and hungry, and we're out there following closely on his tracks, hopefully.
Does it seem like he's receiving any help from anyone, or has received any help from anyone?
I think this latest break and enter shows that he's not receiving some help at the moment, because he's breaking into a house to try and get some, either whether it's to stay there as some warmth or whether to get some food, etc. So if there was assistance being given to him, that's not the actions of someone that you would think is getting help from someone else.
Did he take anything?
We're not sure of whether he took anything. That's what we're investigating at the moment. I've sent our forensic officers into the scene. We're talking with the owner about what may or may not have been there before, and we're doing fingerprint and DNA evidence, and of course on this gun, ballistic evidence in relation to any evidence that we can get from those items.
So is this a vacant house?
A New South Wales Police media conference there saying even though fugitive Malcolm Naden, they did come face to face with him, he is still on the run.